Hedgeweek coming in hot with the quick news before the episode starts here fast. We got shirts, we got blazers. We don't actually have blazers. We got jumpers. I think we do.
We don't have jumpers.
All sorts of assortments and items of clothing that you can now wear. There are things that exist. There's shirts that say Explosion Network. There's shirts that say Arcade Couch. There's shirts that say things, many podcasts. There's Platinum Explosion ones, hopefully.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, all those things exist. The main point is that you should head on over to explosionnetwork.com/shop. You should head on over to explosionnetwork.com/store. Either way, you're going to get to our new fancy store. It's got all the things up. It's got shirts you can buy and ways you can support us. Put us on your body. Put my face, put my logo on your body. Wear me. And we'd like to make sure everyone knows that the Explosion Network logo is not just his and his logo alone. His face is not his and his alone. The Explosion Network logo is a logo for the people. We are the Explosion Network. This message was paid for and supported by the Explosion Network of the Explosion Network Government of Politics 2019. Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends and get your gaming goodness every Saturday at 6 a.m. My name's Dylan Blyton. Joining me on the couch today, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here to talk about stuff. Video games.
Okay, you've got a shit intro this week, for fuck's sake. And also Captain Cuties herself, Sheree Schroner.
Hello, I'm back.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, your intro is more acceptable because you have time off, but...
what a welcome committee. Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Let's be honest, it's a little bit of a letdown a little bit after predictions last week was a lot of fun. So... Now, we're in that awkward in-between period where it's not E3 yet.
Well, I said this would happen last week, though. It was like...
Exactly, you called it.
You record your E3 predictions last week. So then you literally approach the next week. You're like, predictions, E3, fuck yeah. And then you got to record one more episode of... It's not E3 yet, but it's close. In fact, it's so close that this episode will literally release the day before EA fucking Play happens. So, yeah, it's just an awkward time. Listen, if you're listening to this episode, good on you, because what a shit time to have a podcast release on a Saturday before the Sunday of which EA Play, and then that's basically EA started then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, welcome to Arcade Couch. We've got stuff to talk about this week. We do have stuff to talk about, so stick with us. You've come this far. This week, we're going to have all our thoughts on the Cuties from the Pokémon Direct. That was super exciting. I loved everything I saw, I think, maybe. Don't know. Going to have my thoughts on Void Bastards and Outer Wilds, two Xbox Game Pass games that dropped. And we're going to have a bunch of pre-E3 news stories to cover. Who'd have thought? And also, we've got our thoughts on Call of Duty Modern Warfare for real. After last week, where it was like, it's a thing, it's a happening. It hasn't had the trailer, it's weird release. Anyway, the trailer's drops now. We can actually talk about it. And let's get into that first, because I don't really have that much to say about it myself, to be honest. They released a trailer. It's like minute 50. What is it? I've got it here somewhere. It's minute 50. It's all actual gameplay footage, and they show a bunch of soldiers, and you know they show them in the rainforest. They show them in like a town of somewhere, someplace like more actual Modern Warfare typey stuff, I guess, compared to going to space, whatever else Call of Duty games have been doing lately. I have not played a campaign Call of Duty since Black Ops 3. That was the last Call of Duty campaign I ever played. So, and I wouldn't say I'm not the biggest Call of Duty fan. Quite enjoyed the last one, obviously, because I played a heap of Blackout. But other than that, I wouldn't say I'm a big Call of Duty fan. I am keen for what the potential is here. But everything I see in the trailer, which is basically cutscene stuff, it doesn't show me gameplay. It doesn't really tell me much about the story, the potential of the story, and all these other things. They're saying it's going to be the most intense Call of Duty in some time. They're saying they're dialing it back and being like, the reason they're rebooting it, because everyone was of course upset about this, and not upset, there was a lot of people making jokes on Twitter about the name, because of course there was Modern Warfare, which was released in like 2009 8 fuck, I don't know, early 2000s. Modern Warfare releases 2 years ago, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, they re-released Modern Warfare as Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and now they're releasing Call of Duty Modern Warfare again, but it's a reboot of the franchise. And a lot of people were saying, why are they rebooting it? They justified it. They said, we're rebooting it because what they considered Modern Warfare 10 years ago wasn't what Modern
12 years
Warfare
ago
would be considered
Yeah.
today.
Now it's
12
really
years ago. There
modern.
Yeah, that's the box quote for you. That should be the name of the game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now it's really modern. But they're saying, I think from the trailer you get the gist that it's more like actual modern.
Really modern.
But you see people jumping on cars and whatever. I don't know. Like it's
like
less
real life now.
epic with fucking. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's potential to tell more interesting civil unrest in certain places and countries and what have you, or even just interesting stories within America, I guess, that you could potentially sell if you want to take like Modern Warfare and go that direction. But yeah, nothing about the trailer sold me particularly on any of that. Ash, did you have? What do you think about the name, the trailer?
I mean, it's
Call of Duty?
fine, I guess. There was nothing obviously about the trailer that particularly stood out. The name is just a bit confusing for reasons, because obviously there is a Modern Warfare that came out recently. But I guess technically that was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. So if this is just Call of Duty Modern Warfare,
Yeah.
it makes
Boom.
sense. It's not technically the same
Battlefield
name.
1954, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1. It makes sense with numbers. Let's do.
I mean,
away
numbers
with
went out the door
all
when
the
they
things.
called it Xbox One. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the explanation I've heard of why they're sort of rebooting it makes sense, because they sort of went crazy with the storylines in some of the other games and blowed up certain cities and landmarks, and they sort of want a fresh slate against to start off again with. So it makes sense. I'm sure it'll be good. Apparently there's going to be multiplayer. What that means for Blackout and Black Ops 4 is interesting, I guess. So I guess we'll find out maybe over E3. No, it's
I'd assume we'll get something.
something.
You'd assume so. Probably. Shrey, did you have any thoughts on
Yeah, I mean, as we've discussed previously on Arcade Couch, I am a huge Call of Duty fan. You know, play it
Yep.
every night. Look,
Call of Duty definitely falls under the category of cuties. So
Yeah, absolutely. I play other games, excuse me. They don't all have to be cute.
Yeah, like Captain Toad.
And Call of Duty, come on.
Call of Duty.
Look, what I know about it, what I want to say about it is it's really modern now. So that's basically my take on it. Yep.
You've got the box
No,
quote.
I think
Good
like
job.
for the trailer, I actually thought it looked good. You know, it'll be interesting to see what is actually going to pull it apart from the other games, and yeah, let's see how modern it is.
Let's see how modern it is.
set
Everyone.
in 2018. Oh,
The thing that interests me the most, and I wrote up a story on explosionnetwork.com about it, an article titled, what the fuck did I title it? Crossplay kicks off next generation of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I wrote about how I think it's, because one thing they announced for this game is it's going to launch with cross-play, right? So proper, now, so far there's only a couple of games that do proper full-on cross-play, which is Dauntless, Fortnite, and Rocket League are games that do full cross-play so far. This game's going to launch with full crossplay, which I think is a huge deal and will set the precedent for all multiplayer titles going into the next generation. As far as I'm concerned.
Dauntless
Like,
already came out with full crossplay.
Yeah, we know, but I'm saying that Call of Duty, the biggest first-person multiplayer franchise of all time, up for debate, whatever. Anyway, Call of Duty's huge. Call of Duty is going to launch with cross-play across everything. I think that's a pretty big deal, and I think that's a big deal for a franchise like that to come out with it now. They've said there's going to be no zombies in it, which I find interesting because that has been like the money-making mode somewhat. They haven't said anything about Blackout. I hope they kind of spin Blackout into its own thing at this stage, because I think releasing a new blackout mode that you have to pay for every year at a full price thing is not something that people are going to be down for people who just want to play that. So hopefully this is just like modern. It's just going to be like the old ones. It'll just be like a really good, hopeful single player campaign and a bunch of OG multiplayer modes. Probably is what I would expect. So your deathmatch, team deathmatch, whatever you kids play these days, capture the flags, capture the frags, gun games. I don't know. Whatever you call these these things. You shoot people, you do the things. We'll get more information though.
Well,
I need gameplay. I need more information about modes, multiplayer modes and stuff like that. But the teaser trailer, I was like, okay, cool. The crossplay stuff, that's really cool. That's really intriguing. That's really interesting. Teaser trailer wasn't doing much for me at all.
With regards to Blackout, I think either that it's going to go free to play, and like then people don't have to worry about that mode dying off, I guess, or potentially it could be included in Modern Warfare in some way, and you can play it cross game, I guess would be the correct term. That could be a thing.
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. There's technical limitations. I don't know, technical things there that I'm like, does that work? But yeah, maybe. Don't know. Shrey?
Yeah, we'll find out, won't we? Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Next story I have, Gamescom is coming to our direction. Coming down. So Gamescom will be having an extra show in 2020 with the launch of Gamescom Asia, which will be held in Singapore. The website writes about it as Gamescom Asia will be the premier platform for Asia game developers to explore partnerships globally and a hub for international publishers who are looking for the next big thing in games. The event will feature a 2-day industry gaming conference and a 3-day trade and public exhibition, including esports events, a showcase of emerging technology in video games, gaming workshops, meet and greet sessions, cosplay theatrics, and much more. So if you don't know, Gamescom is at the moment once a year thing that's held in Cologne, Germany, and has been for, as far as I know, forever. And it's basically, I feel like in most people's minds, considered like the European E3.
Yep.
I guess I don't know if that's kind of what I refer to it as, for sure. It's like Gamescom's the other E3, but it's not as big. Although for the last couple of years,
it's getting Jeff Keighley this year, so
Gamescom,
it's definitely heading towards being more like E3.
yeah. That's the thing. This year, Jeff Keighley is putting on a full... We talked about that on this show or somewhere. Jeff Keighley is putting on a full thing at the Cologne one this year. So that's going to have more press conference value because the last couple of years, stuff will always get announced there. And Sony usually has a heavy presence there because it's a region which they do well in. And Sony usually announces a bunch of stuff there and what have you. Numbers-wise, I think Gamescom in Germany has been putting up more interest and more public interest than like even E3, I think. I don't know if that's... I'm not 100% confirmed on it, but I feel like the numbers are definitely up there. So it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're expanding down this direction. And it's exciting. What do you reckon, Ash?
Yeah, it's interesting that obviously Singapore is closer than anything else. Even Tokyo Game Show Singapore would be closer to that. So another big event nearby. Obviously, the only issue is if it's set in October, that's pretty close to PAX time, which is the other big Australian thing. But that could work in its favor. Obviously, companies, developers or whatever could go to Gamescom, and then obviously it's not that too much further of a trip to go to Australia. So they could just put the extra week or so in the budget, the marketing budget, and some of those big games could come over here as well.
Shrey?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, Ash, that I hadn't really thought about. But yeah, I think it's a positive step to be bringing things over this way. And yeah, like it would really suck because they've moved the PAX date now that if it did overlap, because that'd be really interesting to see what it actually would then do for PAX numbers, especially because that's the only, that's our main gaming convention. So yeah, that I find that side of it would be more interesting, but I think like the rest of it is complete positive. I think there'll be a lot of people that'll travel over for it. It's It's cheaper in a lot of cases to get cheap flights to Singapore than it is just to travel within Australia. So I think it's a positive. People are going to love it.
Yes. To the point where I already looked up the price of flights what they would be when it was announced the other day. Not for the exact date, but just like
In general.
because they get in general. I was like, how much is the price? And I was like, oh, it was like $600, $700 return, like estimates I was seeing around. I'm like, it's a thing. And I definitely feel like there's going to be a lot, if I'm doing that, going, like umming and ahhing, I reckon there'll be a lot more people umming and ahhing about it as well, because as I was just saying, Gamescom's considered the European E3, right? I'm not going to fucking, unless someone pays $1 million for me and teaches me how to not get shot in America, I'm probably never going to go to America unless it's for Star Wars Celebration. I feel like that's the one thing I'd break exception for. But Gamescom down here, yes, that is highly intriguing, and I have great interest in potentially looking into, maybe it's obviously a while away. You don't know what's happening, but the PAX thing is the biggest, like. Who budges there? And I feel like they have to budge because, the other thing I pointed out in the news article I wrote up for the site is that it's not only PAX, it's also PAX takes place during the Melbourne International Games Week. So that's an entire week where there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't usually cover, but don't know much about because it's all to do with the development side of games. And they hold a whole heap of conferences and talks for developers from Monday to Friday. From Australian devs, New Zealand devs, international. It's in the fucking it's in the title, isn't it? So they're holding a whole bunch of stuff, and those people are usually really busy because most of them developers and stuff will attend Melbourne Games Week, and then come Friday they're off to set up for PAX, and then they have to deal with a whole bunch of people like us annoying them. So it's a huge week for the games industry in Australia, obviously, and I would find it hard to believe that a lot of these people wouldn't be like, oh, that's Singapore. That is pretty close. Like, I would like to take my game over there to show it off there to the Asian market because, of course, that is good for them.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of people on the media side as well being like, I would like to go see other big games and also games that I may not see talked about because obviously there'll be local industry stuff you'd presume there from the indie side as well, which would be highly interesting and whatever else is going on. So I do feel like it's up to PAX to kind of budge a little bit to...
Or just make it work.
to allow it to work for everyone. And so we'll have to see what they do. Of course, we've got to get through this year's PAX before they start thinking about dates for next year. But super interesting when we'll be coming into 2020 to see what happens. Either way, it's cool though. Even if none of us go, no one we know goes. It'll still be interesting.
No, I think someone we know is going.
I know Matt from P2 is going.
Yeah.
Booked it the day it was announced on Twitter, I saw. Keen Bean. So what happens when we work at this travel agency, apparently.
Yeah.
Lucky for some. All right, so this past week we also got announced another Go game. We don't really need to talk about this one that much, but honestly, I feel like at this stage, whenever a Go game gets announced, I feel obligated to at least acknowledge it on this podcast because I feel like if I don't, I'm doing a disservice to these games.
I'm sure there's a bunch of Go games that have come out that you haven't talked about.
Oh, there probably is. Look, if I haven't seen them, then they don't count. So Square Enix wrote the story. Kotaku wrote this story. Square Enix announces Dragon Walk, its version of Pokemon Go. Today, Square Enix announced Dragon Walk, an augmented reality game based on Dragon Quest that encourages players to get out and about. The Pokemon Go comparisons are inevitable. In Dragon Walk, you walk through an in-game field which is filled with real-world Japanese landmarks like Tokyo Tower and battle monsters. There is also a customized Mime Room function that allows players to decorate their in-game dwellings. Dragon Walk is going into beta in Japan now. No word about its official release or whether the game will be out internationally. I don't think either of you have played Dragon Quest, right? Is that
nope.
Okay. Dragon Quest is cool, right? It's got a bunch of characters that stand out, especially the slimes. They're like that's the thing with Dragon Quest. Everyone kind of knows the slimes and whatever. Maybe if you haven't played Dragon Quest, you still probably recognize the slimes. You've probably seen them out and about. This game will do really well in Japan. Yeah. Should they release this internationally? I don't know. Because I don't know, like, I'm sure there's an audience, but to sustain it to do well enough with all the other competition outside of Japan, I don't know. But in Japan, Dragon Quest is very big, and this will do
Didn't they
quite
have to,
fine
like,
there,
do, like, public holidays after the game comes out because people just don't show up to work or something? That sounds like a thing that happened.
That sounds like, I remember when Dragon Quest 8 released on PS2, back in the days before Twitch or anything like that, I found out that there was a dude streaming the game and he'd been streaming it for 48 hours straight on a website. And I ended up watching him playing it for several hours one day after school or something. And this dude had just been playing Dragon Quest 8 for 48
Incredible.
hours straight.
Dragon Quest 8, inventors of streaming games.
Yeah, and for everyone who listens to this and be like, oh, Dylan must be 19 years old. Look, I'm talking about pre-Twitch here. I'm basically 38. Yeah, so from what we've seen about this, does anyone have any thoughts on this one?
Looks weird. Looks wild.
Looks wild?
Yeah, I don't know how much of that trailer is accurate.
I think it's highly travel. Yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer, which you're listening to this, honestly, you probably haven't. But there's literally a shot of a bunch of girls doing a selfie shot over a waterfall or something like that, and this monster bursts out from underneath it and scares them all. Yeah, I highly doubt that's going to happen.
It might. You don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. So it's another Go game.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll put bet on. I reckon this would do really, really well in Japan.
Oh, absolutely.
We know how
Dragon Quest is huge there, so that makes sense. Anywhere else that makes money would just be a bonus. Although they'd have to question whether the way would want to put the money into localizing or translating.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would actually say that I don't reckon this one will come over anytime soon. I don't reckon it will.
We'll see.
To be honest. But we'll see. It exists. Now you all know it exists. So we've got a Todd Howard interview, which has prompted a conversation about Bethesda's intentions when it came to Fallout 76, which I thought was interesting, especially because Ash loves that game, don't you, Ash?
Yep, the game I played.
Best game of the year.
2 hours, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't know that much.
Story comes from Push Square. Fallout 76 was never going to get rave reviews, says Bethesda boss, prompting another backlash. So the interview itself came from IGN, but they've broke down the more interesting part about it. It says, however, the quote that landed Howard in some hot waters is this one. Quote, even from the beginning, we thought that this is not going to be a high Metacritic game. That's not what this is, given what it is. Many have taken this to mean that Bethesda never had high hopes for Fallout 76 in the first place, that it was fully aware of how shoddy the product was. Of course, it shipped the game anyway, and it was met with damning reviews and a huge fan backlash. The other take on this quote is that Howard's tried to spin things a little. It almost sounds like he's saying that the negative review scores aren't necessarily indicative of Fallout 76's quality, but we think that's disingenuous at best. What do you reckon, Ash?
I guess from a certain
Todd Howard's a fucking liar. That's what I thought you'd say. I thought you'd say that.
Yep. It doesn't sound great when he says they pretty much put it out knowing there was a bunch of problems with it. You want to put out a game that's doesn't have any issues. That's the aim of bug testing, I guess. But I guess from their perspective, they've known for having buggy games, I guess, so they thought they could get away with it a little bit. And also that a lot of the problems that they were going to encounter would only come up when people were actually playing the game. So
a lot of the problems would only come up when people were playing the game. Fucking hell.
I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it's not a great quote. But
Sheree, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, not really. I didn't play it, so I just going based. My really close friend, she loves Fallout, so I think she still really enjoyed it. But basically, from everyone else, I just heard unhappy tears. Don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say whether it's just a comment that's coming across out of context and not really what they meant, or whether it's exactly what they mean and they're just stupid.
Well, I mean, the problem is just that for any game, it's if you're going to come out and be like, yeah, we knew there was stuff wrong with it, but we just decided to sell it anyway.
Well, it's hard to know whether that's in
you compare it to a car
reflection of it, though.
Yeah, but if a cars person if someone sold you a car and they were like, yeah, we knew this thing would probably fall off 6 months later or had a problem, but it's fine.
But
you'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah, only Danny DeVito and Matilda
Recall.
rewinds the kilometers. Deep cut. I don't know if that's a deep cut, but Matilda's a great movie nonetheless.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think it's a very good quote. I don't think it paints the company or Todd in particularly the best light. And we know Bethesda kind of is known for certainly Todd Howard speaking out of his ass at some point a lot. Not quite. He's definitely no Randy Pitchford, that's for sure. But he speaks out of his ass a bit, I think. So no one's Randy. No one's a Randy Pitchford, yeah. But it's going to be interesting come this E3 because obviously I feel like their last E3, like it's funny because you look at Bethesda of E3, it's like last year I think it was somewhat of a flop for them, especially when you look back at what they kind of spent a lot of their time talking about from last year and to how it was received. And it's like Fallout 76, that didn't go well. Rage 2 they spent a lot of time on, that didn't go too well either. That's coming out to very mixed, mostly mediocre reviews. So and then you like look back at their first big E3, the first one they did, everyone fucking loved that one and was like, Bethesda's the best, because they come out, they announce Fallout 4, they release it like whatever it was. Fallout 44, whatever. They release it soon after. That's the one everyone thinks about. When everyone thinks about Bethesda at E3, I feel like their mind's just clouded with that first E3 where they're like, yeah, they do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So definitely feel like they've got to put on a decent show this year. Especially when you've got comments like this coming out at the same time, like the week before E3. It's like,
yeah.
Don't
so
keep that in mind.
Definitely going to be talking about Fallout 76 show.
Oh, they're 100% going to talk about Fallout 76. Who got that in as a prediction?
That would be me.
You got that in? Okay, there you go. You want them to talk about fucking Fallout 76 then. Okay, so nearly the last little bit of E3 stuff here. We got is at Rocksteady Games. Now, who got this prediction, Ash?
That was also me.
This one in? That was also you. Okay. So Rocksteady Games is skipping at E3. So the story comes from Push Square. It says it wouldn't be an E3 without Rocksteady Games confirming that I'll once again be skipping the show. The studio's co-founders took to Twitter to break the disappointing news, telling fans that the team is hard at work on its next project back in London. So Stephen Hill on Twitter said, "Hi all." And this tweet reads, I don't know if it's exactly word for word, but from memory, it sounds like exactly the tweet he sent out 12 months ago when we was probably talking about that on Platinum or something like that.
No, actually, this one's different because I firmly remember them tweeting it after all the conferences have been over.
Oh, okay. It was after. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember that tweet though, and everyone was like, yeah, come on, Stefan, what are you doing? Hi all, a number of you have asked, so we wanted to let you all know up front that Rocksteady Games won't be showing at E3 this year. We'll be watching as fans, but remaining in London, hard at work on our next big project.
That's right. They're going to live cross from London.
The article continues and says this is now the fourth year in a row that Rocksteady has decided not to attend after releasing Batman Arkham Knight back in 2015. Rumors of its next title have been floating about for years now, speculating over what superhero it'll adopt for consoles next. Well, it looks like we'll need to wait a little longer before the reveal comes about. At this point, the developer's next project has to be targeting a release on PS5 and whatever else. Yeah, Ash, you got the prediction in. How are you feeling? How you holding up there, champ? You good? You ready for those points?
Yeah,
you ready to lose some points? What are you doing?
It's fine, I guess. Yeah, what are you going to do? I'd also like to point out this article's wrong because they were there in 2016 for Batman VR. So,
Arkham VR?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's only been 3 years, so I guess I'll give him a little bit of leeway.
Do you think he's lying though, or do you think it's...
No, I think he's telling the truth, but I think that fact is wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, it's disappointing. Obviously, we'd love to see them put something out again because obviously they were turning stuff out reasonably quickly. There was 2 years between Asylum and City, and then 4 years between City and Night. But yeah,
obviously, what the fuck do you think they're doing then?
I don't know. Hopefully, all we can hope for is the WB Montreal or whatever the other studio is doing something superhero related.
It's a Harry Potter game.
Harry Potter game, or there's the Court of Owls game that everybody's talking about as well. So we'll see.
That's a Dylan flips out on stream moment. That's for sure.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/Explosion Network on next week.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday. No, yeah, Monday. Yeah, Shree, what are you doing? What are they doing over here?
It's probably not that much of a disappoint. Like, of course, there's people disappointed, but I think it's probably not that much of a disappointment when they've already done it quite a few times. You just want to hope that whatever they're working on is actually going to be worthwhile and, you know, worth all the time. And, you know, wouldn't be surprised if they came out and was like, yeah, and it's available now. Not now,
That
but
would be great.
You know, pretty close to when they announce it. I think that eventually, if it's something really good, people won't be disappointed. They're happy to wait, but it'd be nice if we could just see something. Just get a little snippet, a little sneak peek. That would have been nice, but yeah, I mean, I've seen like a lot of rumors about it being superhero related, but just don't see how that's gonna, I don't know what that would be, you know?
It's so weird with them though, because for most things I'm like, don't show me or tell me anything until like it's going to come out within like a year or a year and a half tops kind of thing. But for some reason it's just been so long with them that I'm just like, just honestly, even if it's like 2 years away or something like that, just give us a little tease, just so we know what you're doing.
I guess like when you think about how much stuff goes around between when they've worked on a game for this long, I guess think about when people release, you know, even just a tiny bit and say, oh, it's coming in a year or whatever, 2 years, you know, the amount of stuff that's said between whenever someone says an announcement of any sort to the game being released, like, oh, the date's pushed back for release. Oh, it's not like what they want to. Oh, it could be this or it could be this. I guess there's more room for speculation, and if they want to make an impact, I guess they're going to by not saying anything.
This is why I think if they released a teaser trailer that was just a CG teaser trailer, they never talked about release dates. They never talked about gameplay. They never talked anything. It's just a CG teaser trailer that confirms it's either a Batman thing or whatever it is. Then no one can really complain about any of these things, and then people can just theorize for the next year or so, and that's fine. I don't care if people have to theorize for ages, and they'll never get caught in but 2 years ago you promised it would have this gameplay thing or this gameplay thing, because just don't talk about it. Just show a CG trailer and just be like, that's it. We're not answering any questions. Shut up. And then go away. And I feel like most people would be like, well, all right.
Yeah.
You know? People would be happy. Yeah. If it was a Superman game, if it was a Batman game, people would happily theorize for a year.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. It has to be worth it, doesn't it? It'd be nice to have a sneak peek, but it has to be worth all this time.
There's fucking British people. I tell you what. I deal with Kieran enough now. I got to deal with this bloody Rocksteady people. What's going on over here? I got problems.
Jeez.
Come on. Talking about London. So, following a leak, like how I did that one, following a leak early in the week, Watchdogs Legion has now been confirmed to exist with the Watchdogs Twitter account updating its profile accordingly. So, this leaked via, I think it was Amazon.
It was Amazon.
Leaked it a bit early in the week.
UK, I feel like.
UK or something like that. Yeah, they put up a listing for it, and then pretty much 24 hours roughly, or maybe a bit over, the official Watchdogs Twitter account updated today, and they're now called Watchdogs Legion. They put up a little video of just the Watchdogs logo, and it says, God save the NPCs, reveal at E3, hashtag Watchdogs Legion, hashtag UBE3. The Amazon listing talked about the game basically being something along the lines of a game where you can apparently control any NPC in the city or something along those lines, and it's set in like a post-Brexit London. To which everyone rightfully was like, yeah, good luck Ubisoft being like,
crazy
this game
concept.
Isn't political like they did to the Division. It was like, our game isn't political at all. It's dealing in a post-Brexit world. It's not political at all. It's nothing. Like, it's just a thing. So good luck with that. But I want to put
it's a fantasy.
Did I get the Watchdogs thing in our... I can't remember. Did I get that? Do you remember?
You said Watchdogs 3, and this is not Watchdogs 3.
Did I get the pick, though?
So...
Yeah, but it counts. But my bigger question, my bigger question was going to be, it got leaked, but it's not. It's all I'm saying, Jaden. Right? All I'm saying is it hasn't. It's been a leak caused them to say yes. It hasn't been officially announced until E3 still. At least it's a half a point. At least is all I'm going to say. Anyway, Ash, what do you reckon? What do we got here? All the leak information, the name. Are you excited? You don't care? Do you want to play as NPCs? Do you want to touch all the NPCs? By the way, it doesn't really make sense to be say that you control NPCs because NPC stands for non-playable characters, but yeah.
Yeah, they've leaned into it.
You can control all the they're playable now. Fuck.
Yeah, they've leaned into it, obviously.
It's just easy to say, I think. So for the sake of...
Yeah, they've leaned in with it, obviously, with the tweet saying God save the NPCs. So, yeah, look, the concept sounds cool, but I guess we'll have to wait till the Ubisoft conference to see it. But you definitely said it will get announced at E3, so I don't know whether James will be grateful.
Have you played any of the other ones?
Yeah, I played all the way through Watchdogs 2. I
Too?
really enjoyed that one. So never played the first one, but yeah.
Doing all the hacking. Let's hack some shit, some people. Yeah, I don't know. Looks just by the logo because it's red. Looks a bit dark.
The other ones were black. The first game's logo was black.
No, it's normally black and white.
That's a bit dark. Wasn't it? I thought it was black.
It's normally black and
sure?
white.
Okay. Anyway, I hate to burst your bubble, but black is the absence of color, which makes it darker than red.
Black and red. Come on. You're just salty about your prediction. Okay, just stay over there on that side of the couch.
It's bullshit.
Anyway, I don't know. It'd be interesting. They're gonna have to pull it out of the hat to make it different enough from the other two. So I think it's going to be darker. That's my prediction.
In cabs now. We now control little cabbie systems, and you can hack everyone's DVDs, their computers, and you can force them all to play to Monty Python or on repeat. Also, I hope there's a Doctor Who reference and a Torchwood reference or something.
Surely.
Yeah? You know what I'm saying, Ash?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know
yep,
what I'm saying?
I do.
You know, the doctor appear in this? You got to go doctor shop. Be like, hey, how you going? We hacked the TARDIS. Ash, we hacked the TARDIS.
I don't know if that's possible.
This guy, please stay on that side of the couch. That's my prediction, is that it's going to be darker than the other two games. That's what I'm putting out there.
Oh,
well,
what if they have a drug trip scene and there's a bunch of Daleks?
I'm going to call it.
I'm down. There better be Doctor Who DLC. I really liked the first game. I platinumed the first game. In fact, my funny little platinum story for the first game is they had a drinking mini game in the first game that was really quite hard. And I got the platinum, and then about 2 weeks later, enough people complained about it being so hard, the mini game, that they patched it to make it easier. And I wanted them to award me an extra gold trophy for having got it before they patched it to make it easier, to prove how my gamer is worth. I played the second one. I didn't really like the second one as much as the first one. I didn't find it as interesting. Everyone complains about the first game's protagonist being boring. I didn't find him super interesting, but I found a lot of the side characters and stuff intriguing, and I generally liked the setting and the story overall. The second one, I think it was just too corny. You know, like I'm dealing with Deadmau5 over here and fucking whatever else I'm doing with these cyberpunk kids. It was too like cyberpunking cool, and I wear a fucking helmet with words. You know, I don't know. It was a bit
cool.
Too weird.
I was going to say that I actually think the side characters in the second one were good, but I think that, you know, the first one came out, it was a fresh thing. The second one came out, obviously following that, it's not as fresh anymore because it's the second one. The third one, they're going to have to drastically change and make it exciting again. Otherwise, this is just going to start becoming a Assassin's Creed situation.
I feel like it's the other way around, where it's been getting better as it goes along. Obviously, the first one came out with such hype. Yeah. It was going to be next gen. It's the first next gen game, and it's sort of under-delivered.
Yeah. I mean, like, as a comparison to people, like, this is the third one around. You know, it has to be different again to the other two.
That's true.
Let's go dark. Well, it's going dark. It's blackness. Don't have lights.
It looks bloodier.
Another interesting question with this one is it, as you just said, basically the original Watchdogs, which when we saw it announced, we didn't know it was a next gen game. Do you think that this is releasing on current gen, or do you think this is a next gen game? without having seen anything, just pulling that shit out of your ass.
Next gen, let's call it. Let's go dark.
No, it's going to be this gen because they've got these 3 unannounced games that they need to put out in the next financial year. So I think you were right on the money saying this is going to be like a November something game.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my prediction because I can at least get half a point for the release date, right, Jaden? Right, Jaden? Fucking hell.
Oh yeah, bring it out. Yeah. Bring it out when Death Stranding's coming out. That'd be sweet.
I think they're completely two different audiences.
No,
one
they
wants
look exactly
to run around in London and be like, "Bip bip, cheerio, hello doctor,
Hey,
how are you going?"
If you can take over any NPC, I'm sure there's freaking babies around there that you can take over. Think about it.
You know what I'm going to take over?
Think about it.
We're going to take over every Brexit voter and fucking make the character walk into the ocean.
Well, I mean, it's after Brexit, so
yeah. But you know how
It's still
the
gonna make a
original game has
difference.
that little bit of info above their head when you like scan them or whatever? It'll give you a little bit of info. It'll say like
Who they
name,
voted for?
age. Did they vote for Brexit? You take control of that character, walk them right off London Bridge. Cheerio, off you pop. And then I take over some other character and it says, hates that the doctor's now female. Fucking walk them off the edge too. See ya, cheerio. Fucking pop off, you little fucking muppet. See you later. Hates that Harry Potter is black in the Cursed Child. Fucking walk them off the edge too, you know? See you later. Off you go. I mean Hermione Granger, not Harry Potter. Still white, but I'll take a black one. Watchdogs Legion sounds great. It sounds like the perfect cure for my anger issues if I could just walk all these NPCs. They're actually, what would we call them then? PPCs. Yeah? Playable
potential playing
Playable people characters.
potential player people leaders. Figured it out. Got him. Sold him. I've been playing 2 games that were released on the old Game Pass service. I hear you're a big fan, Ash. In fact, I hear that you hate it.
I mean,
The
it's
room is
good for
free.
consumers. I don't think it's going to last forever.
You're a madman. So I played Void Bastards, which I've put a decent amount of time into, and I've also played The Outer Wilds. Which one should I talk about first? Flip a coin. Go for me. Which someone?
The first one you mentioned.
Okay, the first one. Void Bastards. Right. So Void Bastards is really cool. I'm really enjoying it. Well, I'll put an asterisk on that and say I'm really enjoying it, but I'm also like, I hope it finishes soon because I feel like if it drags on for too many more hours, I'm just going to get kind of bored of it. But at the moment, I'm enjoying it. But I feel like I'm at a hill. But Void Bastards is a roguelike first-person shooter kind of. It's not really a shooter. It's like a first-person. Well, you are playing a first-person shooter, but like its mechanics aren't really about being good at first-person shooters. It's just that's how you kind of play the game. But you're basically, what happens is some fucking spacecraft. The story's nonsense, really, but it doesn't really matter. There's some spaceship up in the sky that's been destroyed, and now the computer AI system aboard the ship that ship is been awakening patients who are stored on the ship as liquid goo or some nonsense. It brings them back to life, and then it sends you off to go get supplies to help save the ship, basically, is what it is. So then, because it's a roguelike, how it works is you head out, you try and scavenge and find the parts that you need to fix the ship, which is like a computer and whatever else. And then obviously, because it's roguelike, when you die, the AI ship computer thing just simply brings another prisoner out of its system, brings it back to life, and off you go to do whatever you need to do. It's got a really cool art style. So you got this comic book style thing, like everything's drawn like a comic book. Even like the UI stuff is all like shaped like little comic book panels, and it's got the humor towards like a funny comic book thing. You walk down the holes, and you have a map, and you go along, you get one fuel, one food. Every time you move from one ship to one ship, it uses one fuel, one food. easy maths. It's not really hard on the strategy element stuff, but it does mean that you need to look at what's there. It says, hey, I've got 2 food, 2 fuel. You move 2 spaces, you land on a ship. You need to then go into that ship to get some food and fuel, or else you're fucked. So you go into that ship, and that's when you enter first person mode. But like I said, it isn't really a first person shooter because headshots will do a little bit more damage, but there's no like iron sights. You don't hold down L2 or left bumper or whatever to look down iron sights. You just shoot people. You get a whole bunch of gadgets. You pick up scrap. You find whatever you can on the ship. You salvage what you can. You make it out alive. When you get back out, you got a workbench. You can upgrade your guns. Upgraded guns carry on to the next character. Upgraded ammo things carry on to the next character. Anything you build carries on. The only stuff you lose when you die is unused random materials and like extra ammo or anything like that. So, but it's quite fun. I'm enjoying my time with Void Bastards. It's on PC and via Steam, and then also Xbox Game Pass. So that's quite good.
Or you could just buy it on Xbox. Make sure you've got it forever.
You can for $45, $50 or whatever it is. Do what you need to do, Ash. Okay?
Yeah.
Do what you need to
Help
do. Would
the
you play
developer.
Void Bastards if you could? Would you? Does it sound like something that would intrigue you, or
Not
No?
really.
okay? Fair enough. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. The game is one that a lot of people are talking about on Twitter at the moment. I don't know. Have you seen many people talking about this one on your
I saw you
timeline,
tweeting
Ash?
with one Mr. Andy Cortez about it. So
Yes. The famous anti-Cortez. Well, because he posted a tweet and was like, oh, this thing, and I thought it might have been a moment, but it wasn't. So Outer Wilds, I had heard of it before, but I knew nothing of it. And I see it come up on Xbox Game Pass, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a go. I download it, and I'm going to put this out there. This will not be on my top 10 games of the year list because I have some problems with it. But this will be on a lot of people's and outlets' top 10 games of the year's list. Let me put money on that right now. This is definitely one where I'm going to say, as much as I don't love it as much as some other people, it is 100%, and I can see why people love it as much as they do. I can see all the great things about it. So the game it's hard to explain, really. It's really quite an odd and weird game. But you're an astronaut, and you can leave your planet. It's all you can run around on your planet where you start, and it's in first person, and you get a jetpack, and you can interact with things and what have you. And when you start the game, you go through some sort of tutorial type thing, and you get codes for liftoff, and then you head off to your spacecraft. And then when you get into your spacecraft, you can head to anywhere you want. So it's not like a map where you pick and you just randomly teleport over there or whatever. You literally fly through the stars, and you can activate a like self-drive system, or you can drive yourself there and do what you need to do. But you can open up a map and be like, I want to go to this planet over there, or this planet over here. It's not No Man's Sky where it's procedurally generated. It is like every planet's built its own way kind of thing. So it's not procedurally generated. But what you have to do is, this is where the game becomes really weird. Your mission of the game is literally, when you leave, you're told that you're just going out there to explore. So you head out, and this is going to be slight spoilers, but it's literally the concept of the game. But I didn't know this when I went in because I didn't know anything about the game. So it shocked me when it happened for the first time. I go out to some planet, and I'm exploring, and I'm like, oh yeah, I found this thing. I was scanning some objects, and it was telling me about the history of this planet and all this sort of stuff. There's no combat in the game. It's scanning and learning and puzzles and, all this sort of stuff. And then next second, the fucking world's exploding and I die. Turns out this game is Groundhog Day, because what's happening is every time you come back to life, there is 20 minutes in game time before the world blows up. So the goal of the game then becomes, you have 20 minutes to go explore and learn what you can on these different planets and worlds, and find out what those worlds and planets scientists have learned, and then try and use that to your advantage to save the world, basically. So yeah, it's Groundhog Day as an astronaut, where you're coming back constantly. My problem with it, because as cool as all that is that I hate the jetpack flying. I find it really annoying and hard to control. And I hate the flying mechanics of also the spaceship. And considering they're two heavy things that you do a lot, that was making it a frustrating experience to play. And I also believe that if you're someone who needs a very like instructed goal, like you need to go here and press a button or do this sort of thing, this game will not be for you, because the game is very much like, here's a bunch of planets. Here are some sort of like checklist, like you should go to this planet, because you can interact with characters and they'll tell you like, oh yeah, I heard a rumor on this planet that back in the day there was this goddess and blah blah blah, and then that pops up onto your thing as a rumor. So then you can go to that planet to investigate the rumor. So it gives you hints at what you should be doing, but other than that, the game gives you no straight objective or goal of what to do. And then you die and you die and you die and you continue to die, because for every 20 minutes the world blows up. You don't lose what you do within that 20 minutes. Like every objective or everything that you learn carries on. It is proper Groundhog Day, where when your character wakes up, they remember everything they've done. It just means that you have to make sure that within your 20 minutes, you achieve something. So yeah, it's really unique game. It's a really interesting game. And I 100% believe that it'll be on a lot of people's best of 2019 list already. I don't know if June's too early to call that sort of thing. I feel like I can, it's halfway through the year. We should be able to call at least one game. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's just, you have to be in a certain mindset or type of player, I guess, to fully appreciate it. And most of the people I've seen tweeting about it have been like, I also feel like if you're streaming it, like we were saying before, like Andy Cortez, he was like streaming it and stuff. I feel like as a like stream game, it would be quite good, because then you get to interact with your audience and then being like, oh, you should go to this planet and do this. There's someone there helping you along the way. Whereas if you're just playing it solely, it's a very lonely experience, I guess, of you just constantly dying and being like, what the fuck do I do now? What the fuck do I do now? Going. And I looked up how long it is to beat the game, and estimates were around like 25 to 30 hours. So that's 25 to 30 hours divided by 20 minutes before you die. That's a lot of like coming back, doing something, coming back, doing something, coming back, doing something.
60
but
playthroughs.
Yeah. It's really interesting though, really unique. So yeah, that's on, if you want it on PC, it's on the Epic Games Store. If you want to buy it, not the Steam Store, the Epic Games Store. How dare they? And then also, Game Pass is where I played it, which I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about at E3 as well. Any questions about Outer Wilds? Not the Outer Wilds, by the way. Outer Wilds. Completely different game.
Yeah. The other one's
That's
Outer
where it becomes
Worlds.
confusing.
So.
Outer Worlds, yeah. It's still confusing. It's quite funny. So Wednesday night, Pokemon threw up their second Pokemon Direct. We got 15 minutes of new information, new footage, new Pokemons, all sorts of exciting new things. So we can run through some of the details in a little bit, but just everyone's overall thoughts on what was shown. If it was exciting. We'll go with Ash first, because I think when we talked about the original reveal stuff, he was like, oh, it's, wasn't that exciting? So, yeah. Are you more excited after this most recent one, what you saw, or what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's a bit more exciting. They clearly grow them a bit bigger in the Galgo region. Obviously. Yeah, it looks pretty. I mean, just obviously that wild section area, I think. They're just the most basic name possible for it, but that looks cool.
They're like our really uniquely named wild
area. Yeah, that looks cool if it's what it looks like, and there's a mixture of random encounters and actual Pokemon walking around for you to capture, and then just it actually feeling like kind of like what we wanted, like an open world area section of the game. You can move the camera around, all sorts of crazy stuff. Crazy. It's not all top down. Bizarre. Yeah. Yeah, looks good.
Bizarre.
Looks good.
Shrey?
Well, we're all waiting for it. There was some cuties in there.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited to see all the new ones. Some cuties and some badass ones.
Badass one.
Badass. Yeah, I think it was a good follow-on from what we originally saw, obviously being completely different. Showing us those humongo Pokemon battles, and there's definitely like some strange names happening. But I think like I was just as excited as from the previous trailer, previous view.
Probably, I was already excited, and obviously I was going to get it no matter what. So it's hard to like define. I was already going to give you money for this thing compared to now I'm more keen to give you money. Like, what difference is there really? But I enjoyed this quite a lot, I suppose, is to put the thing. I liked everything I saw. We'll go over the details. And the Dynamaxing thing, which we'll talk about in a second, is the only thing I'm like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't worry me. It doesn't like ruin... It's not ruining it for me, but it's just not something I'm completely on board with yet. But, once you play it, once you get in there, maybe it changes. I see more. I get more on board with the idea of these fucking comedically large Pokeballs and whatever else is going on. Okay, so let's run through some of the stuff that was shown. So, talking about before, the wild area is one of the key things they talked about in the Direct. So, the wild area is basically going to be just big, open, expansive areas between towns and cities and so on and so forth, which you could be like, yeah, but we already had those in other games. But the distinctive difference appears to be they're actually huge open areas where you're not led down direct paths with kind of slight different directions you could go in to find like a secret item or whatever. It's a lot more open, and you can run around and do what you want somewhat. It appears. I can find different Pokemon, and you find different Pokemon on different days and different weathers and all different sorts of stuff. It's not quite the Breath of the Wild thing that people obviously want of somehow, jumping on their Pokemon's back and climbing any cliffside they so choose or what have you. Or, maybe that'll happen too. I don't know. But I definitely feel once we saw the wild area, it does give more of that feeling of a big open world Pokemon game that we've wanted more so than the first.
It's a step in that direction,
I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the first trailer didn't really hint at any of this at all. Most of what we saw was the character walking through towns or areas that were like fenced off on the sides and stuff. When we were like, oh yeah, so it's just your normal
maybe we
Pokemon game.
could have.
No, if I remember correctly, I was like, guys, I reckon this is going to be more open, and you were both like, no, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. And I said, no, I think it's going to be more open. And you're like, no, it doesn't look right. It's not going
that
to
doesn't
be.
sound like something
That
we
was
said.
the conversation. Yeah, it was.
Well, one of the things I found so funny about this trailer was because they open with all this footage very similar to what we saw last time. And, they're just showing areas and what have you. And then it was like a reveal. They're like, oh, but there's Pokemon in the wild area, which is, of course, the other big thing that this revealed. But they didn't really talk about and explain how it's going to work. But we now have some sort of confirmation that this game will have Pokemon appearing in the open areas, like they did somewhat in the Let's Go games. Although, to me, it looked like they're lot less common, which would make sense if the game's a lot more open and expansive, considering the Let's Go games had to fit all of those Pokemon into these very small areas that were built in a game from 20 years ago, whatever it was. So how do we? Yeah, it just felt like a reveal, because they're showing all the stuff at the start of the trailer, and it's like, yeah, we've seen all this, and then they were like, blink. And there's Pokemon walking around, and you can bump into them. Here's a Steelix in the wild. Here's all these other things floating around in the wild. So on. Do we think it's going to be like a mode that you can turn on and off, or like what do we? Did anyone get thoughts for it?
Maybe it's going to be like, because they mentioned the weather stuff. Maybe it's going to just be weather boosted type of Pokemon around at the time. Maybe that would be my thoughts.
Yeah, I think it'll be a mixture of that and random encounters, probably. Like maybe things that you've caught before, let you see them, or run into before.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Definitely something you need more of an explanation on, because they didn't talk about it. It was just shown, so you can be like, I think this is how it's going to work, but we don't really know. So the big thing And the big like key thing about the Galar region is going to be this Dynamaxing stuff, which is going to be a key battle component and then also a key thing to do with the game's multiplayer as well. So Dynamaxing, which as a name, I'm like not sold on either. Gonna Dynamax your Pokemon. It's like it's sort of combination between the Z move stuff and then the mega evolutions from past games, which have had their own like, no, you make these certain Pokemon into big different versions, and here you go. Here's a giant different looking Charizard and what have you.
But this time they went, let's
Pokemon
save money, not redesigning characters. Let's just blow them up. Make them bigger.
This time it is literally just from that Pokemon episode in like the first season where they go to that island of all the blown up Pokemon that they think are real.
Exactly.
Yes. They want when Ash and all that are wandering around, they think they've discovered a Pokemon island full of giant Pokemon. But it turns out they're just blown up balloons or something from rides. That's this, but they're real Pokemon is what it is. So Dynamaxing seems to be something that'll work on all Pokemon. You see in the trailer that the trainers use a special item on their wrists to activate it somehow. Don't really know what it's called or how it works or what have you, but they like attach their Pokeball, like they make their Pokeball touch it, then it Dynamaxes the Pokemon and
Dynamax is the Pokeball.
Else. Turns things
into
big.
Freaking volleyball size.
Pokeballs, go on and go. Well, there's another thing because you can. There must be key factors into when you can Dynamax and when you can't Dynamax somewhat, because they talk about in the gym battles, which are all going to be built around Dynamaxing being a big component for the game, that the gyms inside this region are all built to enable Dynamaxing. So all your gym opponents are going to Dynamax their Pokemon, and you got to Dynamax your Pokemon to be able to do it back. So I'm like, what is it in the gym that makes it work so special? I don't know. Can you do it whenever you want out in the wild? I think so. But then why is the gym the thing?
Because gyms.
Really so how do we feel about giant weird Pokemon in general before I get onto the multiplayer component of this stuff?
It's an interesting choice. I mean, I guess it makes sense because obviously what they're doing with the raids, it makes sense to have big Pokemon or like larger, more difficult to fight Pokemon, but it's a bit of a weird move. Obviously, they've introduced Z moves and Mega Evolutions the last few games, and they've dropped them each time to bring in something else. And yeah, it's a little weird, but I'm sure it'll be fine when we actually get around to playing it, I guess. It is adorable seeing a massive Raichu and a massive Pokemon. Although I'm interested to see the scale of different things because it feels like everything looks the same size, even though
probably will be.
I saw a Twitter thing today where it was like, don't Dynamax your Whale Lord.
Yeah, you would be dead. You won't be battling anymore.
Yeah.
I agree. It's so cute. I want to make everything big. All the cuties big. Let's make them as big as we can. Let's make a world of huge cuties. Look, I'm interested to see a bit more about it, other than just having large Pokemon, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm for it. If we just can make cuties bigger, I'm on board.
Okay. So how it'll work is that we know is just that you'll be able to Dynamax your Pokemon. It'll make them really big, and then it'll like superpower all their moves. You can only do it once per battle, and then you'll get 3 turns before they revert. So there's some level of strategy involved of when to Dynamax your Pokemon, I suppose. Then you got the raid stuff element of it. I just remembered the other thing I was going to bring up was I was just thinking of it just before. I never thought of it until just before either. Is that I don't know if Dynamaxing now makes all the raid battles in Pokemon Go canonically Dynamax Pokemon.
Yes.
Because
yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah, I already thought of that as well because they all are always larger than what they're supposed to be, and they're always the same size as each other, basically.
Yeah. The raid battles you do in Go, they're always these huge giant Pokemon, and when you beat them, they all deflate down to their actual proper size. So now I'm like, come on, are we going to say these are different things, or are you going to just be like, yeah, look, That's Dynamax. That you're fighting Dynamax Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and it's a good crossover if they want to do marketing wise, because then the raid battles in Pokemon Go and the raid battles that we're about to talk about in Sword and Shield would be both fighting giant Dynamax Pokemon. So if they want to start using different keywording, and it changes nothing about Go, it just changes the way they describe the stuff in marketing to help like crossover promotion, I guess. But yeah, the raid battles in. And I have to somewhat think that this was brought on by Go as well.
Yeah.
Because I find it hard to believe without Go that Game Freak would have gone this direction with a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Is a thing. So in Sword and Shield, you'll be able to do raid battles where you'll fight a giant Dynamax Pokemon, 4 players. So you, yourself, and 3 others. You team up to take down the giant Dynamax Pokemon, and then at the end, you'll have a chance to capture it. Exactly, pretty much like Go, except for with less players, and you'll have to do proper battling, not just Pokemon Go tappy tappy swipey swipey. You'll be doing actually battling this time, so that's, I suppose, the big difference. Key factors: when you go to catch the thing, you blow up your Pokeball into a giant volleyball and chuck it, and that's hilarious. And that's the funniest part of the footage for me personally. It's just that one shot of them chucking this fucking volleyball at this Pokeball. Get in here. And then also you will be able to do the raid battles locally with a bunch of people together in your switches, which they said first, and it was like. And
I was already on. I was like, no, right to Dylan as soon as they said, I'm like, no, and then they're like, and also online, and I was like, oh, it's okay,
and
okay,
also
thanks,
online. So we're good. So we are. We are in fact good. You will be able to raid with friends over Nintendo Online as long as you have a Nintendo Online membership, which you can get for free at the moment anyway if you've got Amazon Prime, because they give you
free,
basically
on
12 month one for free.
Which if you've got Twitch Prime, you can...
Yeah, Twitch Prime. So
you got a free Twitch subscription, which you give to us. Yeah. Maybe.
Twitch.tv/Explosion Network. Come check out our E3 coverage and use it then. Yeah, do other things. Get Nintendo Online and subscribe to our channel. But yeah, so how do we feel about... We don't really know more information than the fact you'll fight giant monsters and team up with friends, but I assume they'll go into more potentials. They did say that like some Pokemon will be exclusive to the raid battles as well. So I presume they'll change those out like monthly or something like that potentially. How do we feel about raid battles in Pokemon?
Yeah, I would.
Shree's like, this is normal life.
Yeah, this is normal. I agree that I reckon this has probably come from Go. And you would assume that it might work similar in the way of you're looking at like legendaries and rarer Pokemon in raids only in game, similar to what they do in Go. That's what I would think if it's coming across that way. And I think it's a good way to make it more interactive between players. It's good that they did the online thing. If they kept it local, I think that's stupid. Absolutely stupid, screwing a lot of people, no different to a million other games that do like local only. But I think it's a good introduction of something new, but then also something familiar for people that already are used to that game aspect. But I think it's really interesting to bring it into these games, and I think it works well. You know, it's Switch console, so it's a bit more. It's, meant to be interactive between people, even if you're local or online. So I think it's a good time to bring it in.
Yeah,
Ash?
I mean, it sounds cool. I'll just be interested to see how they actually implement it. Like, do you all have to go to the same point in the map for a raid thing?
I think so.
Is there going to be continuous raid things so you can do like multiple raids one after the other with each other, especially if you're like online? Otherwise... You just do one raid battle and then you have to run somewhere else and do another one.
They didn't go into details, but when like the footage you saw 4 different trainers run up to this like thing, this object in the wild, and seemingly activate it to start the raid battle. But they never described how, what, or any of that means other than they're doing a raid battle. So I'm sure we'll learn more eventually. But
then I assume only one of you gets to catch Pokemon. So how does it decide that?
No, I think they can just get away with just being like, you all get a chance.
Yeah.
Kind of like how,
Okay.
Yeah.
exactly like Go. does.
everybody
Like,
gets
there's
a
only one
red
Pokemon there, but
Gyarados.
then 20 people get a chance at catching the legendary Pokemon. So, yeah. All right, so let's talk about some characters that we got introduced. You got some friends and friendettes to meet along the way here. So, we got introduced to the champion of the Galar region, named Leon. Wears a cape.
Capes are cool.
Has his sponsors on the back.
I hope that's a thing going forward in like Pokemon. Just champ
What? Sponsors or capes?
both. I swear, at the next Pokemon World Championships, if the winner doesn't get a sponsored cape, we're gonna be disappointed. Yeah.
I'd be disappointed. That's for sure. Yeah, we didn't learn too much. Although it's got purple hair. He's got sweatband wristband thing on, shorts under leggings or something. I don't know. It's a character. It's an interesting character. We got introduced to his brother as well, which wasn't quite as interesting, called Hop, which just makes me think of that bunny movie that came out a couple of years ago. That's all I can think about. So he's got that going for him, I suppose. His younger brother Hop will also be one of your rivals in the game, they said, as you both head out on your adventures on the same day. Who'da thunk it? And then we also got introduced to one of the weirder looking characters, which was the Milo, who's going to be one of the gym leaders in the game who specializes in grass type Pokemon, who is really fucking buff and then has this really weird baby face. Quite odd looking. Stands out. I don't know if they're missing a nose or what. I don't know what's going
It's
on.
the freckles.
It's a weird looking
Puts
character.
off.
It's just old freckles. There's no nose there or anything.
None of the others have really noses. They just have like a not line or a dot that signifies a nose. So it's hard with this.
So one of the freckles is a nose, is what you're
Could
telling
be, yeah. Or he has multiple noses.
I just
They're
can't.
not freckles.
Maybe. I mean, find out. Not too much about any of those people either. And then we got introduced to the professor of the Galar region and their assistant, which is Professor Magnolia. And surprisingly enough, they specialize in Dynamax research, which makes sense. And then also her daughter, who's also her assistant, is named Sonia, who also happens to be Leon's best friend from their childhood. So there's your big tie-in to the professor's assistant as best friends with the champion, and then the champion's brothers, your rival. Yeah, we got some hardcore like setting up of character stories here, people. Yeah. Get pumped. Also, I found out of all these characters, they're weird. I don't know.
They are weird, yeah.
They're weird. The professor's probably the most normal looking like Pokemon character, I guess, out of all of them. The rest, I don't know. Hop's pretty normal looking, I guess.
The
but
assistant's
the
fine.
rest of, yeah. Well, let's get into the exciting stuff. So we got the new Pokemon. So we'll go one by one. We got 4 new Pokemon here, and then we got the 2 legendaries were also revealed. So first Pokemon, I think we'll go from least interesting to most interesting by my account. So the first Pokemon is Corviknight, which is a Raven Pokemon, and is apparently going to be a taxi Pokemon.
Yeah.
They said it will fly around places. I don't know if that means that in the game there's only going to be specific Pokemon that purposely can fly you, like quick travel you places, or they were just saying that to be funny, and still every flying Pokemon can just take you places.
No, I just took it as like a fast travel option.
Yeah, like maybe early on before you can get the Fly HM or something. It lets you get to city to
maybe
city.
they're getting rid of HMs. Because they got rid of HMs in Let's Go. Maybe they're just going to stick with getting rid of.
It's freaking
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Get rid of HMs. I fucking
freaking
hate
huge
them.
though. Apparently, it's like 7 feet tall. Apparently, the stats that come out. Yep,
Really?
massive. It's like
Jesus.
it's this generation's
Big.
Firo. Big freaking bird.
Yeah, but Firo shit. This thing looks cooler than Firo. We got Dreadnought, which was the bite Pokemon. I haven't posted on Twitter yet, but I quickly before we started recording made a comparison between Dreadnought and forgetting its name, but the first boss from Spyro 2, which I think looks exactly the same as this. So I'm going to post it up later for everyone's consideration, which is where I think Pokemon's ripped off
Oh, there's a bit of ripping off apparently.
Spyro 2.
I
But,
saw a lot of like positive feedback about this one. Actually, people loving it.
It looks good.
It's a big old meh.
Big body
meh.
Pokemon.
Anyone like this? Do you
Yeah,
like-
he's bitey.
It'd be great to see him in the realistic battles. Just ripping chunks out of
Yeah,
other
scary as fuck.
Pokemon.
I don't. It's a big turtle thing with, it looks cool,
Yeah.
sure. I will say one thing, and all of these designs, even though I prefer the cute things, they're all. I feel like they're all good designs though,
Yeah.
because I remember I never played I don't remember which one it was there because as previously said, I skipped out on a couple generations there, and I remember when I first saw the picture go up of the Pokemon that was basically a fork and a spoon, I was like, yeah, thank God I'm out at the moment. So this is at least a little bit more exciting to me. There's designs I prefer. I like what we're seeing. Then we got Gossifleur, which evolves into Eldegoss, as they showed. Is this a cutie one, Sheree?
Yeah, they're all really like they're all cute in their own way, you know.
Even the big black freaking raven with armor.
Yeah, all cute in their own way. That's the badass one. That's the badass cutie.
Yeah, so Gossifleur is evolves into a giant fucking rice bowl, I think, or something
It's
like
like
that.
a dandelion. Is that
It's a dandelion. Oh my goodness!
nailed it?
It's a
Look at
giant
its
rice
fuzzy
bowl.
head. It's got a fuzzy head. It's a big dandy.
And then the best Pokemon shown off, according to the internet, I think unanimously, was
Wooloo.
Wooloo.
which is basically the Pokemon Company and Game Freak just being like, we've designed this Pokemon. It's called the Sheep Pokemon. It's based on sheep, and we're all like, none. It's just a fucking sheep, mate. Like, look at it's just
It's
sheep.
got braids.
It is literally.
It's got like, yeah, and it's got like little plait things.
Yeah, little plat things.
Little plait things.
It's-
Like, it's cute. Just as soon as it came out, I wrote to Dylan and I just hit the E button. E. I was just excited. They're just
And
cute.
they're going to be everywhere.
That I like. That one and Dandy, the Dandy
Yep.
fuzzy head friend. Those are my
So-
favorites.
What's good about Wooloo is, see, we've had Mareep in the past, right?
Yeah,
When
which is
Mareep was a
cutie.
sheep, it was all right. I
Mm.
think Wooloo looks and name has it above Mareep.
yeah.
Now, the bigger testament when we're rating our sheep-based Pokemon will be to see the evolutions of
Yes.
Wooloo, if Wooloo evolves. Because Mareep evolved into a sheared, standing on its hind legs, weird-looking sheep thing, and then evolved into a giant fucking yellow creature.
Cute. It's like one of my favorites. And then like it has the cute head bobbing. Look, it's just they're cute, okay?
Yeah, I like to refer to it as the Animorph Pokemon. So then, it's fine, right?
Fine.
It's fine when it evolves, but it loses its sheep
Ness.
essence.
That got kind of like I guess the bits on its head could kind of be like the fuzzies, all that's fuzz that's left. But it's so cute. That's one of my favorites. They're so cute. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting for any of these to see how they go.
Hopefully
you know?
hopefully
If
it evolves into
I really just
Woolia.
want- Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
really want its evolution just to be something corny, whatever it evolved into. Don't be a completely different name. Just be something like you just said, or like Booloo or Lulu. Something. Wooloo 2.
It's just going to be Woolly.
Woolly, yeah, sure. Wooloo evolves into Woolly. Oh, Wooloo evolves into sheep.
Wait. Evolves into jacket.
No.
It evolves into lamb chops.
Oh my God. I've never
At least
seen
mine
a
was just its
Pokemon.
wool.
Never seen a Pokemon release that fits so well for Drew over at the House of Mario. As well. You know, it's like what's one of the new Pokemon for new Pokemon games? It's his day job. When you gonna nickname this when you play it, Drew? Day job. Day job 1. They catch another one. Day job 2. Go check out House Mario. They should 100 episodes. Gotta catch them all. And then we got our 2 legendaries as well. So, which so they're called, let me try and, I don't even know how you pronounce these fucking things. Zacian? Zacian? How do we say it?
Zacian, I think it was.
Sure. Zacian is Zamazenta. You know what? Fucking sword and shield over here is what they're going to be referred to as. So they're 2 wolf Pokemon. One has a sword.
It's carrying a sword in its mouth.
It appears.
It's like a bone.
It doesn't appear to be attached to it. It appears
it's got really good jaw muscles.
Yes. Whereas Shield, whereas Shield over here appears to have the shield built into or part of its body somehow. Either way, or someone's just shoved a giant fucking shield over its head and gone, here you go. Go on then. What do we think? What do we think about the 2 new legendary Pokemon?
Yeah, I think that the shield makes a bit more sense because how the design is. It's almost like furry on the outside sort of thing. But I don't know. We're gonna have to see a bit more about the sword. Like, I get it. You could cross-reference it to the fact that it's like a bone in his mouth almost. But it just seems weird that one is literally the thing and the other one's just carrying it. And I've seen like quite a bit of uproar about that. People being like, what the hell? What is this even doing? But yeah, like, what do you think of the color schemes?
Yeah, it's cool.
Of their bodies, like the blue and red.
Yeah.
They match.
Yeah. I think that's what probably, like, I reckon it could have been a little bit better. Like, the colors, I feel could have been a bit better, but otherwise I think they're pretty cool.
I mean, it makes sense with the color of the boxes.
More doggos.
I think Sword's blue and Shield's red.
I think the boxes were picked after the...
No, I think it was...
Probably.
But yeah, more doggos.
Yeah,
more
can't
doggos,
argue with good doggo legendary Pokemon. Obviously, the sword one's weird. Like, how does he eat? Does he put the sword down and then he eats in his mouth? Or does he have another mouth? Does he ever leave the sword? Can somebody else carry the sword?
They should have made it his tongue.
I mean, maybe it is. Who knows?
Or his tail.
Also, people have been pointing out that that design is a boss from Dark Souls, apparently.
It is. And I'm pretty sure it's also like, well, it reminded me of several things. So they say, you know, like, this is towards the end of the direct. They're like, oh, one more thing. And they start this CGI video that says clearly, you know, not gameplay footage or whatever. And then we see Sword over here first. And for a split second, my first thought was, there's a Digimon crossover? Because I was legit like, there's a fucking Digimon. I couldn't tell you which Digimon I thought it was, but they looked so much like a Digimon that I was like, what the fuck? Digimon's crossing over with Pokemon? For a hot second there. And I was like, wait, no, that's not happening. That's not a thing. Then it reminded me of the more the video went on, it was reminding me of I can't remember the name of it now. That dog game that released on the Wii back in the day, and then it was ported over to and then it was ported over to the Switch and the PlayStation and all this sort of stuff. I can't remember the fucking name of it. Reminded me of that, and then also there's the Dark Souls thing, which it's a giant dog with a sword out of its mouth. So
It's not
yeah, that's
super
the thing.
original. But
No, I don't mind them. I think they're pretty cool. I've seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, they're just dogs again." And we already
what's
have
wrong with dogs?
But
Exactly.
there's nothing wrong with dogs. And my other thing is that I don't think these dogs look anything alike to the 3 dogs like Entei, Silsween.
No, these are more wolf.
Whatever
like.
that one's called. Yeah, these are wolves.
Yeah,
They were like completely different. I feel like they're in their own. These are wolfies, wolfie doggos. So I don't know. That's good. And then the last detail we got was the reveal of the cover art for the game, which I think they both look pretty cool on their respective cover arts somewhat. Although on the cover arts, Sword looks really cool because I think personally it's got a sword hanging about its mouth, and Shield in the picture because it looks like the shield part of its face is like a weird frilly neck thing. It makes me think of that dinosaur from Jurassic Park that fucking
The spitting one.
kills what's his face as he's trying to escape. Yeah, the spitty one. It reminds me of that, like the thing.
Well, because it's funny because we all both like, yeah, Team Sword because, blue for life. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now because it comes in the double pack as well.
It does.
I ain't gonna have time to play both these fucking games. Plus, I'm waiting to see the prices on that because I'm like, if it's not cheaper, what's even the point of the double pack?
It's not.
Because I'm assuming,
Well-
do you only get one legendary per, is it going to be
yes.
almost like so you want the other legendary.
Yeah. Or you just find someone to trade you one or something. I don't know. I don't know. If this is not cheaper, then you're going to be paying $200 for a double pack.
So-
like what, $160
So
for a double pack? or
at
something?
EB Games, Sword and Shield are $79.95. The double pack is $159.95. So it's
Wow.
5 cents more expensive to buy the dual pack. You do get a steelbook though to house both games.
Guess I'm getting a double pack.
Yeah.
You just get the double pack and go halves with someone and then switch them. Literally.
I'll email Nintendo. Can you just send me the steelbook? I'll do a really good unboxing video. Hashtag content creator. So the box art, and then the release date was revealed to be worldwide November 15th, 2019, which
Well-
I don't really think is a big surprise because that's when Pokemon games usually come out, and also it was leaked like a week ago. So
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Good timing
Smart.
right before. I think they
Good
said
move.
it's a week before the Black Friday sales. So-
Yes, yeah. It is, which is going to be like epic. And then obviously just being before Christmas and everything, it's just a smart move. Smart move, Nintendo. We spoke about a lot of their smart pre-Christmas moves when we
Especially-
spoke about the new Switch.
Yeah, especially if they're going to do the cheap
So-
Switch that Dylan predicted. So
Yep. Good move, Nintendo. 10 out of 10.
Yep, so that was the Pokemon Sword and Shield Direct. Does anyone have any final thoughts on anything?
The one thing that I was kind of the only thing I was a bit not confused about with it, I think the game looks great visually and art style wise, but I was a bit confused because obviously they're using a lot of 3D normal graphic sort of art style that they use say in Let's Go, but then they're still using a lot of the 2D 3D drawn type of art style, and especially with the Dynamax stuff, I just don't know whether it really tied in as well as what I wanted, but I think I'm just gonna have to see the whole game in order to see how it all looks together,
yep.
It'll probably be at PAX. Go play it.
Oh, that's crazy.
We'll line up for
Maybe.
2 hours.
Are you gonna have to play? What? They're just gonna throw you in a
Ash's
raid or
face
something.
just then for audio
Okay.
listeners were like, oh my god.
Did you just suddenly remember that PAX was a thing?
Yeah, I
'Cause
forgot.
you were like, oh yeah, PAX.
Oh man, the lines are gonna be so long.
Oh my
though.
goodness, Pokemon! Gotta
Yeah,
catch
we'll be
them
very long.
all. Pokemon.
Thank you for joining us on the couch this week. Make sure you check out explosionnetwork.com for all our other shows, reviews, news articles, and much more, including for the whole next of the week. There'll be a lot of stuff
What are we
posted
doing
about
next
E3.
week?
There'll be a whole bunch of stuff about E3. So if you head to twitch.tv/Explosion Network on Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday for when the Microsoft conference is on what one kicks off? Ubisoft on Tuesday kicks off. So those two start at 6 a.m. Australian time. So we'll be streaming those through to 11, 12 or whatever it is by time like Bethesda and Square Enix wrap up as well, the two shows after those. And then we'll be live streaming our reacts to the Nintendo one at 2 a.m. Wednesday morning, I think that
Too
one is.
early in the morning? Yeah.
Too early in the morning, Wednesday time. Yeah, it's those ones. And then we will have, of course, Arcade Couch next week. We'll be posting late. It'll be posting late Saturday. And this is so that we can make sure that E3 is done and dusted. Not just the press conferences, which are wrapping up, Wednesday, but the actual show itself, including the E3 Coliseum and all the trade show days. And then we will be able to do Arcade Couch late on Saturday and get all the news, not half the news. So that next week's episode will go up late, just so you know. And then for all your news pieces or any potential articles, who knows what could happen, make sure you head on over to explosionnetwork.com/E3-2019. There's a hub there, or you can just find it. It's stuck to the homepage. explosionnetwork.com, all the E3 goodness, all happening there. Or, follow the socials when I read them out in a second. You'll find all the stuff there as well, I'm sure. Rate Arcade Couch on Apple Podcasts to help out the show, of course, or you can simply share it on the social media platform of choice that you like to do. You can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. Discord, join it, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. That'll let you know when we go live to do all the reacts and stuff too. There you go, fancy. And you can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL. You can follow Ash on Twitter at AshleyHobby, ASHLEYHABLEY. You can follow Cherie on Twitter at Cheriecorno, CHERICORNO. And until next week, we will see here, not the same time, but it'll be the same couch. It'll be very sweaty and heavy after a full hefty week of
It'll be like
E3.
slept on, maybe a little bit of drool.
Yeah. Who knows what else? What other bodily increments could come out of me while this event
Just sweat. Catch up on the latest TV, online media and movie news from the biggest comic book films and YouTube crazes to our local cinema scene. And then hear what we've been watching before asking the age-old question, what do you want to watch? Available on all podcast services every second Friday. Just search your podcast app for What Do You Want to Watch and subscribe for free now. And keep watching stuff, I guess.
What an arcade pouch. Jeez, that, yeah. Jump in, you kangaroo motherfucker. Hop in, we're going for a ride. Oh,